I
Hi.
was hi. I was actually looking at my calendar for this week and I'm like, right, we're recording this week. And like I'm just like that feels like it's earlier on my to-do like cuz I just scroll on I have the widget on my phone for the calendar. So like
Oh, okay.
it's just like day and then stuff and then next day and stuff and like you
Mm-hmm.
can scroll through it. And I was like, right, we're recording this week and I started making my calendar and I'm like I put it on today and I'm like, why is this on Monday?
I was looking yesterday at my we were talking last class. We were talking about balance, and I was saying how I like get a little preview for the week, and
hmm
yesterday I was like, wait, we're recording already? I haven't thought about a thing. Like, but anyway, did you get a new webcam?
This is not the one on my actual laptop. This is
Oh,
the extension for when my laptop decides it doesn't want to run the webcam.
this webcam is way better though.
I feel like you can see the bags under my eyes.
HD cameras are evil. I totally can
Yeah.
appreciate that. Oh
It's
my.
a good thing we don't need that for our mostly audio medium.
Absolutely audio medium. You put my phone out of the way. This has been a really busy week. Yeah.
You mean the one that started today as of Monday or like the
Already.
previous one?
Also, both. Yes. Yes is
Because
my answer.
this week has been fine for me. Last week was bananas.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I spent like a lot of the weekend like working, which I generally don't do, but
Mm,
last week it was just wall to wall like stuff that culminated in
yes.
the diversity conference, which took
hmm
a lot of the day on Friday. And then yeah, I thought about it today. Besides taking walks in my neighborhood, I haven't driven my car since Friday. I just got home and I've just been home, and yeah.
That's nice. I like when I don't have to leave my apartment on weekends.
Yeah. So anyway, good stuff. Good stuff.
Welcome to Coffee Break Classroom, brewed for higher ed, where teaching meets good vibes. We're just two friends who love our work, our students, and more importantly, a good laugh. Here you can expect a blend of ridiculous classroom stories, a little education research, as well as some practical teaching advice. So grab your coffee, settle in. It sounds like it's going to be a good episode today.
So everyone, welcome to Coffee Break Classroom today. We have a fun topic.
Yeah, we decided we were going to talk about our favorite students, what makes students our favorites, how can we make students our favorite students.
Now, as a disclaimer, I'd like to say that I love all of my students equally, but I enjoy some of them more than others, if that's possible.
That's true. That's true. I think we should add that.
I thought back into some of my more recent favorite students to see if there were any trends, and then I then thought back to some of my earlier students. I looked
Mm,
through some old like pictures and stuff like that to kind of remember what I've been doing throughout the years. But I did find some commonalities. What was your methodology to prepare for tonight's conversation?
I showed up. No, I'm just kidding. I didn't go
Inspired.
back that far.
You're not as old
I
as
haven't been
me?
teaching. Yeah, that's what it is.
Uh-huh.
I'm not. I haven't been teaching as long. Although, like, I do know that there are some students back from when I was like a TA in grad school that, like, I would throw on the list.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember really well my very first class at our college
Mm,
because, like, it was so the first lecture I ever gave was at our school. So, like,
okay.
I mean, I did like a little mini lectures at the beginning of like labs in undergrad and graduate school, but like full 50-minute lecture, the very first one was when I had been hired as an instructor,
Mm,
which is bananas, but here we are.
I did that. Mine was when I was a postdoc.
Okay.
I was co-teaching a quantum mechanics class.
Okay.
So, but I do remember like getting the reins for like because we swapped units, basically swapped on and off units. So like
Okay, yeah.
I taught a whole unit by myself, but like I didn't have to do the whole class, but I like did the unit. And I like the switching into that. I remember that being like a scary experience, and now I'm just kind of like it's what I do every day.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that's why I think I remember that first class so well, because I feel like it was like a formative experience for me
Hmm.
as a teacher, and a human probably. But I remember them leaving the first day, and I opened like a notebook and I furiously jotted down like all of my ideas of what I was gonna do different for the next class. Because I just felt like I had big imposter syndrome for sure, like when I
Hmm.
started.
Yeah, I feel like I was probably also in that boat. I had actually like I worked as an adjunct after I got my bachelor's. And before I went to grad school, and I like just taught some labs and recitations. So I did have some of that experience there, but I was a teaching assistant before that when I was an undergrad, and I did a little bit of tutoring. So I've always kind of done a lot in that vein. But then
Mm-hmm.
standing up in front of a class of like 40 people
Yes.
and like needing to and like convey information to them is intimidating when you're doing it the first time.
Yeah, and you know what else I think is in those very early years, it was hard for me as a an instructor to turn off like my internal like dialogue that was happening
Mm,
inside my head, or if like anything was happening outside of work, it was really hard for me to kind of compartmentalize that, like in the quiet moments when students are writing things down, and then like those little thoughts start to creep back in, and it's really, now I'm good at it. I can just like be present, and block everything out for the most part. There are still crazy days when things trickle in, but for the most part, I think it's a skill for sure, for sure.
I always have those moments before class starts. When class is going, I just like I turn the
Mm-hmm.
record on and like I go and like I know how it plays out. I know when to pause and like I just kind of check in with everybody and stuff like that regularly.
Mm-hmm.
But at the beginning of class in that like 10 minutes when people are walking in and getting settled, I'm just like that's when I have the inner dialogue being like I should probably say something to them. How does small talk work? Maybe if I just look through my notes, I'll look busy
No one
and
will
then I
say
won't
anything
have
to
to
me.
nobody will say anything to me. And I'm like, oh, it's 1 o'clock, time to start class.
Yay. Look, I've avoided all conversation.
I know I'm so much better in structured situations that to have that unstructured openness, like I'm just like I don't know what to talk about. Like I yeah.
How do I
The
human?
days Yeah, I know. The days that go well are when I put on some like stupid little like A or B choice on
Oh,
like the board. Like if a snake wore pants, how would it wear pants? Or like, would it just be through one leg or would it like curl around through both the legs and its head and tail come out of a hole? And like people have a debate about that and we can chat about it, but I can't I suck at small talk, which is not at all the point of what we were.
not at
So
all.
here's actually I'm going to tie this in to what we're talking about today
Please.
because I think like the students that I have enjoyed the most are the ones that come in with main character energy.
Oh, okay.
Like they're like as if each I think I like to think about this because I'm a big fan of the TV show Community. So like I think about my job as being a TV show with like we get to the end of the spring semester and I'm just like, well, this has been an interesting season. Like because there's and if you look at the past 4 years that I've been here, the end of every year has had something insane happen.
A
Like
nice
whether it was at the
cliffhanger.
I know whether it was at the college level or just even in the department level, like it's just been like something insane has been going on. So I'm just like, this is tracked so far. So each year I try to think about like, okay, who are the main characters in the show like this season?
That's wild. That's
Yeah.
wild. So give me an example of someone with main character energy.
Yeah, and it's so funny because I think they got to this point where they were also referring to themselves as the main characters. I'll like come back to that later.
Oh my God, this
Um,
generation.
but I know, but well, so part of this stems from the fact that because I tell them this story, like when I went from SUNY Potsdam to the University of Maine, like it's a bunch of red brick buildings on a river, and the mascot's a bear. Like,
Is that the same at both?
yes,
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
So I just like I felt like there were a couple times when I was walking around as a graduate student and I would see the people in the background and I was like, I feel like these are the exact same people that would be walking around in the background at my undergrad institution. And it's just like the budget for my life is so low that they've recast the extras. Like they just have the same extras in the
The
background,
NPCs.
right? Even though like we've shifted so much. Yeah, right. They all look the same. And I don't know what like so I that's just how I think about my life sometimes because of the way that as we move through like college, there's like moments of breath and
Mm-hmm.
like you have the summer and like it's a low energy and then like we're back up and then we have winter break and it's down and then we're back in for the spring and so there's like a breath to it like a TV show. So,
Wow.
so it's like an easy kind of mapping, but
I like that.
yeah, so I think the main character energies, like the students that I enjoy the most are the ones that engage. Like they're talkative, like they're asking questions.
Yep.
Um, they're just like telling about what's going on in their life, right? And like they don't even have to be the brightest students.
Oh
They
yeah.
don't have to be straight A students. Like I appreciate so much a student that just like wants to show up to office hours and just sits there and works. But like
Mm-hmm.
they're there, like I can see that they're engaging it with it. But engaging in class, kind of having those discussions, jumping in, telling you my jokes are funny,
Validating my existence.
validating my existence.
So I have a similar group of students. I didn't call them main character energy students, but it is basically the same thing. I
Yeah.
wrote down authentic, like students who are just like they show
Yes.
up as like their whole selves
Mm-hmm.
unapologetically. I was looking back through pictures and there was a student, little Kara. This is what we called her because she had our friend Kara in chemistry class too, and so Kara, our friend Kara, is very tall, so we called her Big Kara, and then this other Kara was a little shorter. We called her Little Kara. But little Kara would show up in the most insane outfits. Like she looked like she was from like a 1980s exercise video, like regularly. Like she would show up wearing sweatbands and like leg warmers, and we're like, where are you going? Like would walk me through how you got here today. And she was like unapologetic when she didn't understand something. She'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
Colosimo, I don't get it. I don't you're talk to me like I'm stupid. Like she had no qualms about that. And then I had this, I don't know, like I like a weirdo. I do like a weirdo who's
Mm.
not like trying too hard. Like
Yeah.
right? Like just I am comfortable in my skin and my skin.
The
Yeah,
authentic, I think, really nails it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think what goes along with that are like students with unexpected backstories. Like I love a backstory for a student.
Mm.
Because I think maybe that makes them not NPCs. Um,
Right.
uh,
Right. Exactly. Although I
um,
don't think it's NPCs if it's a TV show, but like it would be if it was a video game.
like an
And I'm
extra.
not sure
Yes, I know.
what metaphor we're following on here.
I am crossing metaphors. Like
Background character.
yeah.
Yeah.
There was a time when we had a lot of students, we had a lot of veteran students coming back from Afghanistan. And
Mm.
for a couple years, I had all of these like service dogs in class with students. And that was so fun because over time, I would pet service dogs, even though you're not supposed to. But like you build a rapport, and then a student would ask for a favor, and I'd be like, if I can pet your dog, then yes.
Oh my God.
But like, I remember during lab one day, there were three vets and they were sitting around talking, and one of them was talking about how he learned that if you got hit, like if someone got hit with an IED and they had shrapnel, but it was like a small wound, you could just pull out a tampon and stick that like in the wound. And I was like, this is not anything I expected when I left the house today. Like this wasn't on my post-it note to prep for class. Like find
Right.
out what to do with shrapnel. Like I don't know. It was great. It was a great few years. We were on a field trip once and I had three veterans in my class, and we were at the top of a hill and they all like army rolled down the hill like in sync. It was hilarious. It was hilarious.
I
Yeah.
love like students who just bring themselves to the table, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I like sometimes I worry, and like maybe this is a conversation for later in the episode. It probably is because we're still having fun right now.
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, it feels like a lot to expect of all of the students in the classroom to do that.
Yes.
And I don't feel like everybody should have to. But
Agreed.
my like I went through and I was trying to think about like a couple of students from each season. Like because there's some of them that I'm just like I really enjoy you and I don't know why, and maybe I think it is authenticity.
Mm-hmm.
I think part to it because I know you do work and like you come up and you ask questions and like you're there, you're
Mm-hmm.
doing stuff. But like the one speaking of like authentic, I had one student that was just like always late to class and was like which is funny because it's like no instructor ever wants a student to be up late to class,
Sure.
but like I think if maybe like I would joke that he just had no concept of travel time. So it's like, oh, it's
Yes.
9 o'clock. I have to get to my 9 o'clock class, which is 20 minutes away from where I live. And I'm just like, why are you doing this?
Mm-hmm.
How do you live your life like this? But the rest of us would start then taking bets on what time that he would show up. And so like that's what we would do oftentimes at the start of class is like I would write I think I do remember one class where we did this is I pulled up the projector screen and we wrote down a bunch of times on the board of like when we thought he was going to show up and whose name next to it. So then he walks in and I roll up the projector screen and I was like, oh, it looks like this person won. And like he just dies laughing.
That's so funny.
Yeah. And then there was another day later in the semester where he showed up to class with crutches late, of course. And I'm just like, you didn't need an excuse to be late. Like that was like not like how like what happened. Like you don't need an excuse. And he also thought that was just like the funniest thing ever. So
That's so great.
yeah, this is the same student who fell off the skateboard.
Yes, I know. I figured that
Yeah,
out at
I
some
know
point.
you know.
So the story for our audience, the kid who fell off the skateboard is that one night, I think it was 2 years ago now, not quite two
Yeah.
years ago, I had a night class and I was walking out to my car and there was a student who was like laying on the ground in February or March or something like that. And there were a couple other students standing over him and I was like, is he okay? And they were like, no. And they were like, I think he's unconscious. He fell off his skateboard. And it was like one of those moments where I was like, I am the adult in this situation.
Yeah.
But anyway, he was fine.
I
I
got a
saved
text
him.
from Amanda that was like, is the kid with the big hair in your class? And I was like, like, is the kid with the big hair and the skateboard in your class? And I was like, yeah, did he fall off? And
And I was
you were
like, actually, yes.
actually, and I was like, oh no.
He's unconscious on the ground. Yes. Yes, he
Like,
is.
oh no. Oh boy.
I had a student a couple years ago who has since transferred, but he would like he was just into geology but also rock climbing. So when the year first of all, like he would just I really liked this because it was so different from the way I thought as a student. Like he would just like leave on a Thursday and just skip all of his Friday classes, some of which were mine, and go rock climbing in like West Virginia just because like he had the opportunity to. And I was like, so part of me was like, you're not following the rules. And then other parts of me was like, but you know what though? He's like doing like the thing that makes him feel most alive in the world and he's not hiding it. He's just like, hey, this is what I'm doing and I'm accepting the consequences and like if I was willing to help him out and give him the assignment or whatever, that was cool. And if not, that was fine. But like then when the summer, he was my advisee. And so then during the summer, he would just like send me pictures of stuff that he saw that he was like, hey, look at this crazy rock. And then we would talk back and forth about it. And then, yeah, I don't know. I miss that. Since he's transferred, I haven't gotten one of those.
Oh, I actually, speaking of them transferring, like this student I was just talking about, and like a couple of the other ones, so they're in their second year now at their transfer institution. So like
Okay.
at the start of last fall, I got they both wanted to call me to tell me how their first day is.
Come on,
Their
that's so
first day
cute.
It was.
You're like their
It was very
school
good.
dad.
And I still like chat with, well, actually, so they wanted to like stay in touch with me and each other. So like they wanted me to run D&D for them. So I run a D&D game for these former students.
Oh my God.
Like there's
that's
a whole
hilarious.
group of them that were in class and they call themselves the main characters. So like that's what we set up as like our group chat thing for that. So
So this
it's
doesn't
so
happen
funny.
often, but occasionally I'll have a class where no one is the main character. And it's
Yeah,
the
I'm there now.
isn't it like it's
Yeah,
uncomfortable, right?
yeah. It's so quiet. Like, and that was one of the
Yes.
things is because I just had my evaluation done, and afterwards, the person who did the evaluation was like, "Your class was quiet," which it was more like they were like it was still there was still more engagement than I would have gotten anywhere else. But
Yeah.
like it was quieter than I'm used to from you, and I was like, I
Yeah.
know it's their fourth class of the day, and like they're just tired. And I there are students in that class that I enjoy who.
Mm-hmm.
I did tell like a year or so ago that like, okay, now this other person's gone, so you can be my favorite. And they're like,
Aw.
yes. Um, like so, my favorite student now is somebody from that class, but
Aw.
um, there's just so quiet. It's just very quiet in class. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't usually know what to do when that happens because then like I'm the
Hmm.
main character and I don't really want to be the main character like at
It's not
all.
about me.
Exactly, exactly.
Yeah.
I prefer several main characters in a class, and then I feel like
Hmm.
I'm just kind of keeping the class on the rails. Like they could go off at any moment, but it's just my expert maneuvering there. We keep learning geology while also having shenanigans. I like a good shenanigan.
I do like a good shenanigan. There, the yeah, because so I think I do want to talk about a little bit why I think that I got so close with this one group, and I don't know if I did that already on a podcast, but like the reason so the group that I like D&D for right now, like they uh were my first in-person class like post COVID.
Okay.
Because like when I started at MCC, I didn't have any students in front of me. It
Yep.
was everybody on a screen.
Right.
And so it was like a whole year of that. And then like this is the first group that like I had in person throughout
Mm-hmm.
like their whole school trajectory.
Yep.
So I think part of that, because it was also then again the first time that they were all back in person.
Yep.
So I think we all just trauma bonded
Yeah.
like over having that experience. And
Uh,
it's like the pendulum swung in the other direction. And I'm very glad that now we're a couple years in and I'm like, okay, it doesn't have to be this level of like everything all the time.
yep.
But like I feel like it's a little too quiet now on the other side.
Gotcha. That's funny.
Yeah.
So I have an unexpected backstory story for you that's kind of
Yeah, yeah.
serious. Okay. So, I had this student who now lives in Florida, and he was like the nicest kid. He's the nicest man now, right? Super tall and lanky. Jessica and I sometimes talk about him like he is like, those like inflatable people with like the wiggly arms at like the auto dealerships? Like that's how he
Yeah.
was built. And we used to laugh about it and he would laugh about it too. But like he had the longest steps and we went in the field with him. Actually, we brought him to a conference in Vancouver and we drove up and anyway, and I was like, your steps are like not human sized steps. But anyway, I didn't know anything about this kid other than he was a super nice kid. I knew he worked really hard. And I knew he helped people out a lot. So one day we were on a field trip and I was like, so what's your story? Not expecting anything, just other than, I liked this kid and it was like quiet in the van. And he
Yeah.
was like, well, it's funny. We just drove past. So there's right next to our school, there it used to be a prison, basically, like a county jail. And he was like, before I came here, I lived there. And he was telling me that he had rheumatoid arthritis pretty bad, and that he became addicted to drugs to like because he didn't have health insurance and he like needed to numb the pain, like literally numb the pain.
Yeah.
So eventually he was arrested and then he got out and was on probation. And was but knew enough on probation like when to stop taking drugs so that when he had a drug test he would test clean. And then at some point he realized that he was never going to get clean on his own, so he
Mm.
literally intentionally blew the drug test so he would go back to jail so he could get help getting clean at in jail. And like that's what happened. And so he got clean and he came out and he went to our community college and I was like, it was silent in the van and everyone was like, Jesus Christ, right? And
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, that's crazy. Like, it literally remains like the story that when I think about it, I'm like, this is part of why colleges exist for students who need a reboot in their lives because holy
Hmm.
crap. But yeah, still one of my favorite students to this day. Awesome guy.
Yeah, that's awesome. So much stuff happens in vans when you're not
Yes.
in the classroom.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those quiet moments or
I know, yeah.
yeah.
Well, I'm thinking of because I chaperone like a trip every semester to a different transfer
Yeah.
institution. Just like a lot of those students, we end up having fun. Like when we
Yeah.
go up to Clarkson, like we they see a hockey game on like campus, one of
Oh,
the campus
fun.
hockey games. We walk down to downtown Potsdam because I went to SUNY Potsdam, so I'm
Right.
like, here's what downtown is like. Here's all of the stuff that you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll buy them milkshakes at Stewart's,
Oh,
right?
that's
And
so
like
cute.
we'll just
Oh,
walk, and then we'll just
Stewart's.
walk back. So yeah,
I
and we'll
love
walk back,
Stewart's.
and so like we just get there's a lot of bonding that gets to happen, and they will ask me a lot of questions about why I do the stuff that I do, and they want
Uh-huh.
to know more about me, right?
Yes.
Um, and so like it's a good kind of chance to chat, and the stuff that you learn about the rest of them is
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
it's good.
Yeah, I agree. I think administrators should learn more about what happens in vans with students because that's
Hmm.
like those weird, like, I don't know. I think those are weirdly high impact practices. I don't know how you
Yeah.
would measure that, but it feels like they are. It feels like they're like moments of genuine connection. Even just hearing like what
Yeah.
music people listen to, like,
That's what
right?
I was just thinking because like I'm just like, man, I hope that somebody who sits shotgun is somebody that I really like want to talk to or that will like lead the
Yes.
conversation because
Uh-huh.
I am not the engine of a conversation. That's never been me.
Fair
um
enough.
but yeah, because I think one of my favorites in the trip that we went to in the spring, I was talking about like I was just like, let's find a like a podcast,
Uh-huh.
something about basket weaving or something. I haven't, and so we found a podcast, and it was just somebody basket weaving. Like
That's
they were talking
awesome.
about somebody who did basket weaving, and I was just like, this is not what I was thinking about,
But
but
here we are.
yeah.
So I had another like broad group of students that are my
Hmm.
favorites. And I would describe them as messy but spunky. Like, because I went through, and this is probably the biggest group of students that are my favorites, students that are, God.
Well, I'm wondering if messy and spunky are mutually exclusive, where you need the butt in there.
Oh, messy and spunky.
I was like messy and spunky. I don't know if you need it's a butt. Like I don't know if they're unrelated.
Good call. Good call.
Yeah, yeah, they're messy and spunky.
So I love a student who I can see that like there's like such goodness and energy in there, but
Hmm.
they are like a mess. And I'm like, "Oh no. I can polish this. Like this there's something good inside here."
Sure. This is like some special rock that I can like clean away the surface layer.
It's true, and it takes me sometimes semesters. And it's funny because I would say that that's not everyone's favorite student. It's not my chair's favorite students, but I love them. And I'm like, you give me a year with this student and you're going to love her next year. And it's always true because, like, there's something in there that, like, they don't conform to rules right away. Like,
Yeah.
I love a student who won't conform to rules because I sometimes don't love rules either. I don't know if you know this about me.
What?
Yeah.
You mean like that one time we did the PD bus trip to go talk about stuff and you sat in the back and just heckled people the entire time silently to us?
I'm always been a back of the bus kid my whole life.
See?
I can't help it. Um, but like there is this one student. She is now they're all successful now, really. I think some are on their way to being successful. I would say, but she would come to class late, a few minutes late every day with like her motorcycle helmet on, and I was like, and it just drove Barone crazy. It drove her so nuts that she just couldn't get there on time, and I would like just be like, what are we doing right here? But we had a banter, and
Yeah.
I think it's through the banter that I slowly smooth the edges, and I will put them in a position where they're in charge of someone else, like in small group work or
Mm,
something. And it takes time, but by the time they're done, they're like the most solid student. They will organize everyone else, and they're there on time because they finally get why on time matters. And
mm.
like, but sometimes there's a lot of mess that has to come off of that. There's a lot of weathering that needs to happen.
I can tell you put a lot more thought into this.
Sorry.
No, no, it's good.
I
I haven't thought about trying to like psychologically manipulate my students into being better yet.
I would say it's like nurturing
No, I'm just
growth.
kidding.
But I have
Immediately trying to dial it back.
no, I have a student who literally told me in advisement one time that I'm the only thing keeping her off the pole. Like that's a direct quote. It's like, wow, I did not expect to hear you say that. And she's like, but you like, she's like, I know you're here. I know you're always here.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I don't always have the ability to like help. There are sometimes like that student, for example,
Yeah.
was an example of a student who like I didn't really have. Sometimes you get into these situations where like I'm not sure I have the expertise to help you anymore. Like I can take you but so far, and then
Right.
like you need other services too. But I'll be your person while you work through some stuff.
I have had some students like that. One of my other favorites, who's like still finishing up her degree, but like I know she's said a couple of times that she's just like, I would not have been able to like finish this program, or like I would have been done at this point, like if it wasn't for you, kind of
Right,
that situation. Yeah.
right. Um, I have a student right now who like she's messy. She's actually get a challenge student. I think I'm gonna get more than 2 years with her, which I'm gonna need all of. So luckily this won't come out till almost the end of the semester. So, and I'm sure I don't think my students know what we have a podcast, so I think it's okay. Do your students know?
My current ones, I don't. I think I've mentioned it a couple times,
Okay.
but I don't think anybody's been engaged with it. My former students know, and are
Yes.
like when I had started it back in the spring when we started it, like I had them, they immediately started listening to it. Like that was a class that still had some main character energy left in it. And they like started listening to it and were then commenting on it to me like during the day and stuff. But that has not been as much of a thing this year because I haven't mentioned it to any of the new students yet,
So
the Excel students.
my students actually that student that you're talking about like actually comments on our TikToks like
One of them does,
yes,
yes.
yes,
He also did the new intro music, so I have
yes,
to do the intro, and we're gonna do it for this video, hopefully. And if we're not, then shame on me.
yes, exactly, exactly. um let's see. Oh, I had a student. We had a while where a lot of our students they were like birds with like broken wings for a while.
Mm,
And so I had a stretch of a few years where we had students who came from other schools and like something tragic had happened at that other school and they ended up at our place for a couple of years, and it was like we patched them up, got them their heads right, and then they flew away like little birds like they were supposed to
hmm.
and transferred on. But I love those students too, like because I feel like they appreciate you so much like for years
Yeah.
afterwards.
I've always felt like the Nanny McPhee like kind of person.
I
Like
Here's
I
a
think there's
generational thing. Tell me who Nanny
well,
McPhee
I don't even
is.
really know, like I just know from like the concept, but I know it's
Okay.
nothing I've ever really engaged with, but it's kind of the idea that like I am there when you need me but don't want me, and then when you want me but don't need me, like you're gone, right kind of situation.
Yes, yes. I
Yeah.
like that. That's cool.
Yeah. She's like, no, you need this right now. And then they're like, well, and they're like, no, you think, and then later it's like, no, you think you need me, but actually you're fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're ready to fly away, little bird.
Exactly.
I've had those students in advisement where they're like they'll have one math class left to take and I'm like you should go to a transfer school and take it there. And they're like, "Yeah, but like I'm just like I'm here." And I'm like, "No. You're ready to fly away, little bird. Like you got this. Take math at your transfer school. Like it's time." Cuz sometimes they get to a point where they outgrow us and they don't know it,
Hmm.
but I can feel that they've outgrown us and they're ready to go.
Yeah.
They're ready for bigger and better.
I do I do enjoy all of our students.
I enjoy the vast majority. Like it's the outliers that I don't necessarily always enjoy. I
Well, we've talked about that. I've only had one that I haven't enjoyed.
well, so sometimes I'll have a student. This is a funny story. I had a student who I didn't like when I had him, and then because he would come in like 35 minutes
Mm,
late and like he was disruptive and he seemed super like not just disengaged but he was actively helping the other students around him become disengaged. And then like a couple years later he came back and he joined the geology club and he was like, "I was always so afraid of you, Colosimo." And I was like, "I wanted to punch you in the face." And he's like, I know you wanted to punch me in the face. I'm really sorry. I was such an a-hole like a few years ago." I'm like, "You really were." And he's like, "But I didn't want to be, but I just didn't have my shit together at all." But he turned into like this model student. Sometimes they're just not like, they're just not ready. They're just not
yep.
ready yet. And then they are.
Yeah. I will say that the one student that I did not enjoy, it was not because of them personally. It was just there was definitely something going on that they needed to deal with. They weren't ready, is what
Yeah.
it is. Exactly what you're saying. Yeah.
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 Um,
Do you have like any good like club stories? Because I was
oh
thinking
my God.
the other subset of people that I like a lot are like my club officers.
Yes.
Like, because they just those are the students that are like they're ready to take some sort of leadership role, and I'm just like I don't have to do like I just get to help support you and like pull aside the things that are not going to matter and like let you go do really neat things that you want to go do.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely do. But wait, you tell me a story first about your club.
Oh, I don't know if I have like a story, but just thinking about like when they want to work on a project or they want to do an event, like the cardboard boat race stuff, they want to just organize that, or they want to do like a pumpkin launching competition where we got our next one at U of R coming up
Uh-huh.
soon as of time of recording. And they just like go and do it. And I'm just like, yeah, like what do you need? Like just let me know. Like
Yep.
I'll get it there. Like they're just engaged, they're having fun. Um, and they're just willing to put the work in, I guess. Yeah.
So, yes, for sure. We when we were advising a club, it was when there was a docudrama that we actually the one we watched last weekend on Super Volcano on Yellowstone, and there was a lot of Yellowstone like in the news and like documentaries about it at that point. And
Mm,
so the students were like, in the club were like, "Would you take us to Yellowstone this year?" Because every year at the end of the year we would do like a quote unquote big trip, which might be just camping in the Adirondacks. But we've taken them to Maine and we took them down to Kentucky a couple times in Shenandoah. And they're like, "Would you drive us to Yellowstone?" And we're like, "You'll never raise the money to like go to Yellowstone." And they're like, "But what if we did? Like, would you do it?" And we're like, "You're not okay. All right, fine." And they're like, and we're like, "Well, we have camping equipment and we have a free van." So we calculated how much they would need money they'd need to raise, and they were like,
mm.
"Bet." And they did all of these electronic recycling events and all of these other fundraisers, and they totally raised the money. Like, and then I was like, "Shit, I think we have to go to Yellowstone in a van." So we did, and the stories from that trip will live in my brain forever.
Yeah.
The first night we got to Indiana Sand Dunes State Park, or Indiana Dunes National Park actually, and I left the tent like an inch open, and Jessica and I were in there and were absolutely attacked by like chiggers or something like that, like some tiny no-see-um bug. Like we were like laying there and all of a sudden I'm like, and like itching, and then it was like, "Oh my God, there's like a million of them in there." So that was the first night. The second night we camped on the banks of the Missouri River, and there was a flash flood. And the ground guy came by in like a little Oh my God, it doesn't matter. He came by in a golf cart and was like, "You guys need to seek shelter at our at the hotel." Hi, Lizzie. And so went to the hotel. And I had a beer, and it was pouring. Like I was like, I don't even want to know what it's gonna look like when we get out of here. And we got out of there, and the students. I looked up, and I was just like laughing, having a good time. And I look up, and there's students looking at Jessica, and I like, oh my God, they're going to freak out. And I'm like, what? What is it? And they're like, the tents are broken. Like they're all broken. Like all of the tents poles have snapped. Like the tents are flooded. Like the van is in 4 inches of mud. And I just laughed because there was nothing to do about it, right? So it's like, okay. So then one of the students drove the van while other ones pushed it, and the van wheels are like whipping up mud, and they were covered from their shoulders down in mud. We got to Yellowstone but we got the van out. It was hilarious. We had to call the provost and ask for money for new tents and stop in Rapid City, South Dakota to buy new tents. Then I think the next day we camped in Yellowstone. This is a good story. So as we got into the ranger station that morning at the campsite, and we were like, hey, just checking in. And they're like, just so you know, there's like a grizzly bear that's been kind of nosing around the tents in the campground. So make sure when you go to bed, you only have your bodies in the tent. Like all your food, all of your personal products are in the van. Not that a bear can't like rip off a door, but still. Okay.
But it's better a door than a tent.
True story. So we went out and like Yellowstoned it all day, and we get back to the campground, and the ranger, we go to buy wood from the ranger, and the ranger's like, just so you know, a grizzly bear took down an elk in your campground today. And I was like, oh wow. And I look at Jessica, and her eyes are just like saucers, like looking to me though, as though
solve this.
I know. And I just look at her, and I'm like, at least he's full. I don't know what to tell you. So we get back to the campground, and it's fajita night. So she is like on shredded cheese duty. No one is dropping a piece of shredded cheese because we are not attracting a grizzly. And across the way from us was a 40 to 50 person Mormon youth group. And they were, I know the story is endless, but I swear it's going to end very shortly.
I'm fine. I'm good with it.
So there's these lodgepole pines, which are like 80-foot trees, but they've all been burned by wildfire. So they're like 80-foot toothpicks, really. And then out of nowhere, while we're cooking the fajitas, the wind whips up. And those 80-foot lodgepole pines just come crashing down to the earth on the Mormon youth group. And they come running towards our campsite. And we go running towards them. I don't know what our plan was, other than we're like gathering the children together or something. I don't know what we thought we were going to do. But then the wind stopped after so long, and some of their tents were destroyed. We were fine. And then at the end of the windstorm, quadruple rainbow in the sky. Like, I'm not even kidding. There was a quadruple rainbow, and I said that it was God's promise to not destroy Mormon youth groups with wind ever again. That was what it was. 'Cause
I don't have the story that can beat that.
So all of those happened on the same trip. Like it was like one day after another. It was bananas.
But you're right. There is definitely some sort of high impact practice that involves like a van trip.
Yes. Yes.
I was going to say I did have one of my officers from a club like a couple weeks ago was just like, do you want to go hiking this weekend?
Oh, wow.
Like, sure. So I actually went back to Fillmore Glen.
Oh, cool.
Speaking of like bus trips.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So I finally got to go hike back around that area more, which is good because I've been wanting to do that.
Oh, cool.
But he was just like, yeah, I just wanted to go hiking, and like one of my other alumni told him that he'd never find enough people to go, and he's like, she's gonna think it's so funny. She's gonna be so upset that she didn't go now that I got Dr. Ben to go.
That's hilarious.
They still call me Dr. Ben, which is like the funniest part to me.
That's
I'm just
super
like,
cute.
I run D&D for you. Why? Like,
I
we're
still, when I see my old professors, I still call them doctor, and they're still like, please stop. And I'm like, no, I can't do it.
no, they're so funny. But yeah, my alumni won't let me get away with anything. Like I was on RIT's campus last week to talk about semiconductor stuff, and like I saw one of them coming in from the car as I was leaving, and I was
Oh,
like, shit, shit.
wow.
And then like, so like I chatted with him quickly, and then later I got a text from somebody else that was like, I heard you were on campus and didn't come say that. Like I was there for 2 seconds and had to get back for a meeting.
The network is strong.
I know.
So
They're good.
here's something I want you to think about, because we had to think about this, is how you are going to, so now you have this D&D thing, but eventually that is going to like phase itself out. So you need to think about how you're going to keep your alumni like connected. And then like, that's why we started our
Yeah.
Instagram page, because now we're 20 years in, right? So
Right. I can't run D&D for all of
you
them.
can't, you cannot.
No, I don't want to.
But it's like a space where they can stay connected to you. And then it's also, so what's funny is our Instagram is, which we'll put a link to in our show notes. Our Instagram for geology, like we have our current students, when there's a picture from a field trip and they're in it, they're like, I made it to the MCC geology Insta page. Like, like they're so excited about it, and they comment on it when they're in our pictures. It's so cute. It's so cute.
I have some contact information for most of them because we do alumni panels in the one
Oh,
club. So like
cool.
they come back and they talk.
That's good.
And like I've been developing them that like I've been
Uh-huh.
developing the context that way. But yeah.
So last September, I was chairing a session at a meeting, and it's the first time I ever chaired a session. And I was doing it with a very important lady, and I was like, I'm just here to like I'll do all the tech, like you just be you, right? And every session had a student volunteer. Then they're just like there to make sure in case you need something. They're like the runner basically. And the student volunteer comes up to me to introduce herself, and she looks like familiar, but I'm not sure. And
Mhm.
she's like, did you teach at MCC? And I was like, I do. And then my student. She was like my student like 15 years earlier. It was so cool. It was like this, like, I don't know, full circle moment where she was there. Also, she was presenting in the session about
Mhm.
like actually it was kind of engineering-y type stuff that she was doing at Mount Rainier National Park. It was awesome. It
It
was
is
awesome.
awesome. We had an alumni that reached out back in the spring from like 10 years ago, so before I
Mm-hmm.
was at MCC, who wanted to come talk to the student group about like his job because he's got a job like that he does now and he wants to talk about
Yeah.
the company and talk about the engineering work that he did and his experience. And so he did that and it was really good for the students.
Yeah, that's something that my undergrad department did super well. Was they had one faculty member who was really good at keeping in touch with all the alumni, and he would have like a weekly email that would go out to all of us, and then people would write back. And now that's kind of morphed into social media, but
Mm,
that was like a really cool way. Like that was actually how I met Jessica, was at an alumni event, but we didn't talk to each other because I was with my friends and she was one of those weird alumni that whatever. But and also I was a child. But regardless, I need to anyway, I'll put that on my list of things that I should be better at. But
yeah, that gives me some stuff to think about.
yeah, good times. Good times. So I don't know if we got to what you really wanted to talk about, was how to make people be our favorite
That was
students.
part of it. Like part of it, I was thinking we're fine. It's good. But I was thinking along the lines of like, what can we do to make other students our favorites? Like if like so that way they don't feel left out. Because I do feel like there's some students that they don't need me to be my favorite. They'll be fine.
Right. Yes.
Like, like you don't
Yes.
need to be my quote unquote favorite.
Uh-huh.
Like it's fine. Um, but I'm just like wondering what we can do to help support students that might need that extra attention.
So I have a student right now in my class who, I think this is the third class that she's taken with me, and this is the first class where she'll talk ever. Like
Mm,
but I do think that she's a student, and I feel like she is a person who could have fallen through the cracks, except that she did take our field class at some point. And so those close quarters like made her become friends with some of the other students. And so I think that this is hysterical. So her father is a veteran, and we asked her one day. We're just trying to like get to know her. This was such a hysterical response, and we're like, "Hey, so like, what do you do outside of school? Like, what are your hobbies?" And she looks at us like deadpan, and she was like, "Weapons," and we were like, "Weapons?" And she's like, "What kind of weapons?" And she's like, "Knives, guns, weapons." And I was like, okay, Anna, that's cool. But like, it took 3 semesters. But Anna now, and a lot of it is Jessica and I being like, and she would never talk, and us being like, well, we all know what Anna thinks because she won't shut up. And so, like, she started laughing because we saw that she was there,
right,
and we wanted to hear from her because she had stuff to add, even if it was to talk about weapons. I don't know.
I try because I have like the first class that I get them, which is when they're getting to know me and I'm getting to know them. Because afterwards, it's all set. Like they know how the vibe works.
Yep.
But like in the one class where I started with the board game this time,
yep.
Right? They have a robot project at the end of it where they like for the last 6 or so weeks of class, like they're working on a robot in teams.
Yep.
And so I really try to make sure that each of them get like the same amount of one-on-one time with me, that I would like sit down at the table and we'll talk about stuff.
Cool.
And I think like that helps.
Yes.
Yeah. There was one student in that class that I think has good main character potential. So
okay.
We'll see what happens. But
so one-on-one time.
Yeah, right. And there was a student in that class that I think also is going to be good, because there was a student who was struggling and was just kind of like, and I'm like, well, what can I do? And he's just like, I don't know. I'm like, they were like, I'm not going to get this like Aww. Right now. Like, I just don't have time. Like, I'll just have to figure this out on my own later. And I was like, okay. Cause like, I've had that conversation with them enough times where I'm just like, they can figure it out. Like they'll come back to me when they're ready and they have questions. And like, and that's how it's worked. But then like I walked away to go do something, and then another student got up, like, and this is a student that I was thinking of, and he went over and was just like, hey, like my friend and I are going to go work on this later. And like, we're going to just sit down. And I was like, oh God, like, I was like, good people exist still. Like, yeah.
It's so great. It's so great when you see them like,
and then they got chatting, and like I came back, and like because I could tell that the student who got up to go like check in on the other one was kind of saying like some stuff about not understanding, just to kind of like create that connection a little bit. Yeah. I was just like, I know that you were just trying to like get there, and but like if there's stuff that you are not understanding about what I'm asking you to do on the assignments, you need to let me know so like I can fix it. And so then the 3 of us ended up having a conversation about like some stuff that was confusing for them in the labs, and I was like, okay, I pulled out the book and I started making notes about things, and it got better. And like some of it was just like, but sometimes we don't know if our answers are right, and I'm just like, but you have to understand that that's going to be the case for the rest of your life.
Oh my God.
This is a homework assignment. You can't be able to check everything that you do to see whether or not it's correct. That's why I have the resubmission stuff set up in the flexible deadlines.
Right.
There's only so much that I can do, but I need you to know that for the rest of your engineering program, there's going to be a lot of times where you won't know whether or not you did it right.
If that isn't, honestly, and not just engineering homework, like your actual life.
Right. That's how I started that. And they're like, okay, I guess. I'm just like, this is good. We're setting the groundwork for some main character energy.
That's good.
Yeah.
I have too many main characters in my class right now, actually, to be honest with you. I have like probably 50% of my class is like main characters, which is why it is unhinged, but but enjoyable, but unhinged. Yeah. It's good. It's a good problem to have. Well, I feel like that brings us to a natural conclusion.
I think it does.
Awesome. Well,
what another great episode.
This was fun.
5 stars.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, and don't forget to email us if you have questions and thoughts.
I would love that.
Yeah. All right.
I don't get enough emails.